Good evening, everybody. This is Joan Chandler, and I am an area organizer with Princess House. And believe it or not, this is the last day of National Nutrition Month. For those of you who did not know it, National Nutrition Month is always March of every year. So we always like to get together with someone who can provide some input on nutrition, because nutrition ties very much into the products that we represent with Princess House. So tonight I am so delighted that our guest is Dr. Brene Court. So Dr. Brene, I am going to turn it over to you so that you can share with everyone a little bit about who you are and how you can help us live a healthier lifestyle by knowing some great nutritional points.
So much, Ms. Joan, for having me with you on tonight. I'm excited and I'm delighted to be a part of this session with you on tonight. You are absolutely right. March is National Nutrition Month, and I'm excited to share some nutritional information with our viewers on this evening. I serve currently as Assistant Director for MNPS, Nashville Public Schools, a Nutrition Service Director. I have been with the school district in this capacity for over 20 years. I have been here from when students had pizza and French fries every day to now when we are roasting our vegetables, offering our students healthier options each and every day. I also serve as the pastor of culinary and wellness at the Temple Church, where we are concerned and making strides in making certain our congregation is not only spiritually fed, but they are healthy with all the meals that we provide at the Temple Church. So I am excited to share with our viewers on this evening some tips of how we can do better each and every day with our eating. And so one of the things that I always like to share with people is that we can pretty much eat almost anything that we want to eat, but it's how we prepare it. And so that comes from using tools and utensils that allow our foods to be cooked the natural way, holding in those natural juices and those natural flavors without having to add a whole lot of extras to the food. One of the things that we enjoy doing is allowing people to eat what they want, right? And so if we want fried chicken, how about cooking it in our air fryer instead of in the grease? Did you know that grease, just 2 tablespoons of grease, adds about 20 additional pounds to our life each and every month if we are not careful? So that's one of the ways that we can provide and eat healthier. Grilling is always a great option. If we have the opportunity and the time to grill, we can do that. But listen at this. If you have to cook in the house on the stove, it is okay. It's not what you cook, it's what you cook it in. And so did you know that there is a great difference between margarine and pure butter? Yes, many of us grew up probably using margarine because why? It was cheaper. But butter offers those natural healthy items that we nutrients that we need for our body. The margarine is literally all fat. Another thing that I enjoy doing, even at my home, and we do it at the schools as well, is roasting instead of boiling our vegetables. Have you ever had some roasted Brussels sprouts? Now, I must tell the truth. When I was growing up, Brussels sprouts was not my friend and was not something that I enjoyed until I learned how to properly cook Brussels sprouts. I was growing up, I saw them just boiled in a lot of water and they were mushy. But if you roast those Brussels sprouts, either in your air fryer or even in your oven, and just drizzle them with grapeseed oil, I can assure you, you will be amazed at the flavor that comes out of those Brussels sprouts. As we're talking about grapeseed oil, those seasonings and spices that we need to put on our food, we don't have to use the sodium. We can use natural low sodium or no sodium flavorings, seasonings on our foods each and every day. Garlic brings everything to life when we are cooking. And so if you have a fresh minced garlic, it brings everything to life in our food. Garlic has a way of sprucing up the food and pulling out those natural flavors like only garlic can. And so those are some of the things that I enjoy doing with the food that I prepare. And it helps me eat healthier. It allows me to maintain good heart health, good blood pressure, and that A1C that many of us deal with on a daily basis, it helps control that as well.
So I want to come in and let's have a conversation about a couple of things that many people would bring up when it comes to the thought of buying fruits and vegetables. Many times people will say, it is so expensive to go to the grocery store and buy fresh fruits and vegetables. I just as soon not go through all of that because I'm on such a tight budget. So what would you say to those individuals, Dr. Brene?
So for me, what I would say is let's start before we even leave our home and let's make a grocery list. So when we go to the store, if we have a list, we are better prepared and able to purchase the items that we need. I will say fruits and vegetables, they can be expensive. However, if we preserve them right and if we store them right, when we get them back home, they will last longer than a day or two. The other thing that I will also say is we can't afford not to buy those fruits and vegetables. Why? Because our health, our life depends on those items. It is so important that we have those fresh fruits and vegetables each and every day, and not just the ones that we like the apple and the oranges and the banana, but we need to explore some other items that we may not always try and eat. And so, or may not have even been exposed to as a child or growing up. There is always a way to afford those items if we take the time to plan, make a grocery list, make certain that we have fruits and vegetables of a variety of colors. It's almost like we want to eat all the colors of the rainbow, and then go to the store and purchase those items little by little and more as you begin to become familiar with them, and then you try new items. We cannot afford not to purchase fruits and vegetables, but it's also about how we store those fruits and vegetables so that they do not become a waste and we end up feeding the trash can.
It's great that you said that, Dr. Brene, because later when I talk about some of the Princess House items we have in our collection, our produce keepers are a must-have for maintaining our fruits and vegetables, and also learning what to do as far as the way in which you store different types of fruits and vegetables. So I'm glad that you mentioned that. Now, on the other hand, a lot of times we have working moms, and the last thing that they want to do when they come home and prepare dinner is to have to fuss with a little one who doesn't want to eat this or that. And with you being in the school system, what advice can you give young moms who are trying to get past the little one who only wants to eat one type of fruit, one type of vegetable, and so forth?
So I have this conversation with parents all the time in the school district. It's so amazing because they always ask me, how can I help my student explore more food and have a variety of foods that they enjoy? And the first thing that I encourage them to do is to take their student to the grocery store with them, and let the grocery store be a learning lesson and a schoolhouse as well. We can learn from a variety of different environments, and the grocery store is one of those things that we can learn from. There are math lessons in the grocery store when you have that third or fourth grader, okay, if I buy 2 bananas and it's 49 cents a pound, how much, if I have 2 pounds, how much would that be? But also explore those fruits and vegetables in the produce section, because when they see things like star fruit, which most of us will walk right past and don't have a clue what it is, if they decide to say, what is that? Because it's huge, it looks really different. Try it one time and take it home and allow them to try it. I believe exposure is the key to getting children and students to eat a variety of fruits and vegetables, but also modeling. As parents, as adults, we have to set the example for our students so that they can see that it's really good. But the key is they have to have buy-in, and students oftentimes end up exposing their parents to things that they may not have been exposed to because they've seen it at school. And so when they go to the grocery store, with their parents, they say, oh, I had that at school, because we do offer a variety of fruits and vegetables and try to expose our students to things that they may not get normally at home.
Well, Dr. Brene, I can totally relate to what you're saying, because growing up, we were very limited. Even though I grew up in an agricultural area, we were very limited as to what fruits and vegetables we ate. And so when I became an adult, I didn't eat a lot of things just because they had never been introduced to me. And of course, one of the things you just mentioned, and another one is asparagus. I would never eat asparagus. But then I discovered, as you said earlier, it's really how you prepare that asparagus that makes you decide, this is really pretty good. The same with Brussels sprouts. So I can definitely relate to what you're saying. And I would say, as you have, to any young mom, it's just a matter of taking your children to that grocery store and you yourself being open to the idea of not just eating what mom and dad gave you, but exploring as an adult. So that brings me to something else. What adults usually contend with, especially female adults, is how do I eat certain foods so that I can maintain a certain weight? And, we're oftentimes, especially as women, so weight conscious. And that builds into our nutrition as well, because we may only want to eat this or that because we don't want to gain 5 pounds or what have you. So can you give us a little advice for the ladies out there who are trying to keep those slim figures, or just maybe trying to lose a few extra pounds?
Yes, so that is a great question. I myself have been that lady who's tried to lose a few pounds and had to lose a few pounds and done it successfully and maintained it. And so the first thing is, we cannot skip meals. That's key. Breakfast is important. I know I speak with a lot of people and they say, well, I'm just not a morning person and breakfast is not my meal of the day. Well, what happens is, if you don't feed your body something, it has nothing to jumpstart your metabolism for the day. And so the first thing I would say is eating your meals daily is important. Small meals 3 or 4 times a day is key. It keeps your metabolism growing and going. And so what also I would recommend is that heavy meal that most of us have in the evening. I encourage you to move that meal up to midday. And what that meal may consist of, it may be grilled salmon, a salad, wild rice, and it may even consist of mashed potatoes or grain bread. But it's your meal, it's your heavy meal. It's in the middle of the day. You have opportunity for that food to work through your body, and you do more movement versus eating that in the evening when we're relaxing and we're sitting on the couch reading our favorite book or watching our favorite TV show, and then we go to bed. And so 1, do not skip meals. 2, make certain we eat our heavy meal in the middle of the day. 3, get moving. exercise is key. It's, you know, we can eat right all day long, but we also have to mirror that and marry that with getting physical, get moving. And that looks different for every person, because I know what I can do exercise wise. You know what you can do. I tell people to find your happy medium, that what works for you, and then get moving doing it. The key is not skipping those meals, eating that heavy meal in the middle of the day, and get moving.
Tying into that, oftentimes the evenings are the culprit because you finally decided to relax, and that's when the snacks may come into play. Even if you had that great meal in the middle of the day, but then in the evening, oh, you just want to unwind. So what are some of the things you can offer to the adults who are watching today who may have a challenge with what to do after 7 when they are sitting there watching their favorite TV show or maybe reading a book? Can you give us a little advice on that as well, Dr. 𝗓𝒐𝒧💧?
Yes, because I struggle with that myself, especially after you've worked all day and you come home, you've eaten that heavy meal in the middle of the day, you've eaten a light supper, but it's 7 o'clock and your favorite show is coming on, or you're winding down, or you're reading your book. And it's almost like you get this sensation that, oh, I just need a little something. That's what I say to myself. I need a little something. But I've had to find out what little something I should have. First of all, I start by drinking some water, because water will help me fill up some of that space that I think I need. So I constantly drink water. And then secondly, I find those healthy snacks. And so I have cucumbers around, and I have carrot chips around, and I have celery sticks around. All of those things that I know are good vegetables that provide multiple colors, but also I love almonds. And so I would recommend eating some almonds. And guess what? You can make your own trail mix with some almonds and your fruits, your vegetables, and you can sit there and make your own little party tray. Cheese is awesome. You have to mind cheese, because sometimes if you eat too much cheese, it can cause your cholesterol, but cheese is also a good protein. So you have to find those foods that are good protein foods, that are colorful, that feed your heart. And nuts are one of those things that feed our heart. That's why it's important for us to have some type of nuts around. And then also those colors come into play as well. I know for me, I have this sensation of something crunchy. And so those carrot sticks takes care of that crunch for me. And some people feel like they need to have some dipping sauce for those carrots and cucumbers and celery. I try just sprinkling a little grapeseed oil on them. If you do that, it gives it just a hint of flavor that will keep you flowing and keep you going. And not only that, continue your healthy eating patterns, even in the late hour.
Some good points there, Dr. 𝗓𝒧💧. So as we look at ending our conversation on nutritional habits, what are the top 3 takeaways everybody who's here tonight should leave here knowing on the subject of nutrition?
So the first thing, thank you so much, first of all, for having me. Thank you for allowing me this time to share on nutrition. March is Nutrition Month, and each year at the Temple Church, I always put out some information for our congregation to focus on. And so a few of the things, the top 3 takeaways I would say is, number 1, don't skip meals. That's the key for eating healthy and maintaining your metabolism. Number 2, drink plenty of water. And number 3, get moving. And also, there are so many resources if you are struggling with eating right and you know you need to. I highly recommend working with a registered dietitian. Most of the time, our health insurance will pay for it. especially if we are struggling with our weight. Our health insurance will pay for it, but they have great resources that they can develop a meal plan for you. Finally, eat the rainbow. Eat from each and every color of the rainbow as you go about planning your meals. Take those babies to the grocery store with you. You will be amazed of the things that they learn and know.
Fabulous, Dr. Brene. And I have always believed that taking all of the information that you've just shared with us is so important when you go into the kitchen, because that's where you take all of those practices that you're putting together to have the right nutrition for you and your family. And you have to learn what you're cooking in, because you don't want to destroy all the nutrients that are in those fruits and vegetables that you've actually spent your hard-earned money on. So the next portion of tonight's National Nutrition Month, we'll talk about some of the products we have in our Princess House line that will allow you to take those fruits, vegetables, proteins, and be able to cook them in a manner that can continue your health journey. Now, I would like to ask everybody at the end of tonight's presentation to take a moment to answer the questionnaire that we have provided, because Dr. Brene and I would like to know if you do have any questions, or let us know if there were other topics that we didn't cover tonight that you would like us to cover at another time. And Dr. Brene, I just want to thank you so much for taking your time out of your schedule to be here with us tonight, because being healthy is almost like they say about raising children. It does take a village. It takes a lot of people working with us to understand the right practices so that we can live a healthier lifestyle. So thanks again for being here. And guys, we're gonna let you see some of our cooking and storage products that can help you on that journey that Dr. Brene just shared. Dr. Brene has just done such a fantastic job of helping us understand the importance of nutrients and nutritional habits when it comes to eating, and particularly when we're out there trying to feed our little ones. But now I'm going to share with you how some of the products we have in Princess House can really help you meet that challenge of providing great nutrients for your family. Let's examine 3 types of cookware, which, by the way, happen to be items that your independent Princess House consultant currently has available for you on sale. The first item that I'm going to talk about is nonstick. Most of you, when you think about wanting to cook healthy, you think about nonstick cookware. And in Princess House, we have our nonstick 𝗡𝘁𝗄𝑙𝐼𝑛𝑒𝑟𝑖O series cookware. Now, there are some important features I want to share with you about our cookware. First of all, it is a nonstick. However, this is not Teflon. Our nonstick is a beautiful nonstick that is designed to last a lifetime. This particular nonstick has no PFOA, which is found in Teflon, and it is also not a coating. This is actually baked in so that it does not peel or flake. The only way to remove it is if you were to cut through the surface. It is dishwasher safe as well. And of course, most people use nonstick cookware because they do want to eliminate oil in the cooking process. And of course, with our 𝗡𝘁𝗄𝑙𝐼𝑛𝑒𝑟𝑖O series, you really don't have to use any oil. I tell everyone, if they want to put just a little oil in their skillet, just simply mist it just a little bit, or you might want to just put a little bit in and take a paper towel and remove the excess oil. And our nonstick cooks evenly because we have a 5mm core of aluminum that allows for even heating. And of course, we do have a lid that comes with each skillet so that when you put your contents in, if you want to add a little steam or moisture to it, you can by using the lid. So the first type of cookware we have to help you cook healthier is our 𝗡𝘁𝘁𝗶𝘁 nonstick cookware. The second type of cookware that we have is what we call our Healthy Cook Solutions. This is one of our skillets, and yes, it is on sale. And the Healthy Cook Solutions is a 3-layer type of cookware. It's stainless steel. And what makes this so special is that it is lighter than most of our other cookware. And when you combine several pieces of our Healthy Cook Solutions, you can stack it so that you can save storage space. But remember how Dr. Brene was just talking about reducing that oil content in your food preparation? Well, we help you with that using our Healthy Cook Solutions, because if you look closer in this, and I hope you can see it, we have 2 center rings. The first one represents 1 teaspoon. So if you're cooking with oil, you can simply pour just that 1 teaspoon of oil and not completely fill your skillet with a lot of oil that can add calories and therefore add weight to you by the month or the year. Now there's a second one, which is for 1 tablespoon. So never would you really need to consume more than either the 1 teaspoon or the 1 tablespoon in your food preparation. Also, with our Healthy Cook Solutions, we keep the thought process in mind of knowing how much you should consume based upon being a female or male, because part of eating healthy when you're cooking is to know what portion control is. So we provide that information on the side of each of our Healthy Cook Solution items, and we also tell you the contents so you don't overcook for the number of guests that you may have or the number that's in your family. Therefore, you don't have leftovers, which means you'll be throwing away food. So that's our Healthy Cook Solutions. The third type of cookware is our Vita Santa. And this too is one of our sale items that your consultant that invited you can give you more information on. But this is a fabulous piece of cookware if you're looking at maintaining the nutrients of whatever you are preparing. It comes with a steam seal system, and that lid that we have is a steam seal lid. Now, what's also important to know about Vita Santa is that it's a 5-ply stainless steel, and with the steam seal settings that we have, you can either decide to cook your content so that the steam is kept inside, or you can put it on a setting for the whistle, which is often used when you're preparing vegetables. And then the third setting is your conventional setting, which you very rarely would use, because the purpose of having Vita Santa is so that you can get the benefits of maintaining 67.4% of those nutrients. I am going to prepare a chicken breast for you real quick. And the reason I'm doing that is because one of the other major benefits of using Vita Santa is that you can prepare proteins without oil. And no one would ever normally think of preparing a chicken breast without oil, but using our Vita Santa cookware, you can do just that. Plus, remember how Dr. Brene was talking about keeping those juices and nutrients in. That happens with Vita Santa. So I'm going to prepare a chicken breast for you in just a second. The first thing I'm going to do, though, to get us ready for the chicken breast to be cooked is I'm going to turn my skillet on. And whenever you're using any of our cookware, we suggest that you cook on a medium to medium-low temperature. You never want to cook on high. So I'm going to make sure I've got my skillet on a medium temperature. I'm going to let my skillet heat. Now, while my skillet is heating, and the reason I want it to heat is because to cook protein without oil, you need to make sure that your skillet is at the right temperature so that your protein doesn't just stick to the bottom of the skillet. So we're going to let that heat, and while it does, we're going to talk about 2 more items that you would want to put in your kitchen to help you maintain those leftovers that you have, or to make sure that you're not, as Dr. Brene said, just throwing food in the trash can. So let's look first of all at our Fantasia Fresh storage containers. These are a real hit. Why? Because they're made of a borosilicate glass, which allows you to have temperature exchange with this glass without the fear of a lot of breakage. So you can put these in the oven, microwave, refrigerator, and freezer. Each of our seal tight lids come with a little vent that you can see right here. You can open up your air vent or you can close it. Now, if you're putting something in your Fantasia Fresh for storage, you would simply seal your BPA-free plastic lid, which also has a little silicone seal on it. You just simply press it. The nozzle is up for now, but I'm going to push it in so I can lock in all the freshness. Now, if you happen to be someone that food preps, these are ideal. They come in all sizes, starting at 1 cup, going all the way up to where we have, believe it or not, that traditional 9 by 13 baking dish. I'm going to use this chicken breast in just a few minutes. But next, remember how Dr. Brene was talking about eating the rainbow? And you know, here in Princess House, we always talk about eating the rainbow because of our Vita Santa system. And all of you can probably remember, we have an Eat the Rainbow chart. And remember, Dr. Brene was saying that even in the school system, they are teaching children how to become comfortable with eating different fruits and vegetables, and they're putting those in the system on their food program so that throughout the week they can get different fruits and vegetables of color so that they can get the nutrients that they need. Now, when you buy those fruits and vegetables and bring them home, you don't want to have to throw them out in the garbage because you didn't store them properly. So that's where our Princess House Vita Santa produce savers come into play. We have 2 sizes, and I'd love to tell you that your independent Princess House consultant that invited you tonight, she is going to be able to help you get your first produce keeper or produce saver on sale, because yes, it's also on sale. But each of our produce savers comes with a tray on the bottom. And the reason we have this tray is because some fruit and vegetables require that you have water. And so if you have a fruit or a vegetable that requires water, what you're going to do is put your tablespoon or 2 of water in the bottom. Now, each one of the produce savers also has what looks like a little colander because it has slits. So if you do have to wash your fruits and vegetables, you can actually do it in your produce saver. And put it in the refrigerator. Now, let me share that on the sides of each of our produce savers in both English and Spanish, we tell you how to store your fruit or vegetable so that you get the real life out of it. Let's take herbs. You know, with it being the spring and summer's coming up, there are a lot of fresh herbs that we can get. So if we're preparing our produce keeper with herbs, it tells us that you need water and air. So what that means is you would put some water, a tablespoon or two, in the bottom, and these little slits on the side either allow you to keep the air in or keep the air out. So when you pull it up, it lets the air in. If you want to have no air, you simply close it. So for all those fruits and vegetables you're going to bring home, you want to have our produce keepers so that you can store them the proper way. Woo! I know that sounds exciting to many of you. But now let's talk about how our Vita Santa cookware can help you keep the nutrients of not only your vegetables, but also your protein. I've had a time for my skillet to heat, and the way you know if your skillet is ready is to simply drop water into the skillet. Ooh, perfect, perfect, perfect. I've got little bubbles of water that are just sizzling and moving all across my skillet. So now I can take my protein, which is a chicken breast, and I'm going to place that in the skillet. I usually prefer not to put any seasoning at all on until the first side of my protein releases. Believe it or not, even if you do not use oil, most protein has its own inner oils. So when you place it in the skillet and you let it sit for just a few minutes, it will slowly self-release. And when it self-releases, then you can turn your protein over to the other side. Now, while we're waiting for this to happen with our chicken breast, I've got a couple of other things to share. The first one, remember how Dr. Brene was talking about grapeseed oil? Guess what? You don't have to go looking for that grapeseed oil. We have grapeseed oil in Princess House, and grapeseed oil really doesn't have much of a taste at all. They say it's a nutty taste, but honestly, it is great because there's no taste, but you get so many health benefits, as she mentioned earlier, by consuming grapeseed oil, particularly anyone who has any kind of heart conditions. You're going to definitely want to use grapeseed oil. Next, I want to share that we have several all-natural seasonings in Princess House. We have actually 4 different types, and get with your consultant so she can help you, but we have 4 different types. They're all natural with no preservatives. Once again, helping you get that flavor, but without taking any chances. Now we're just going to turn this over. Did you see how that lifted right up? And you can see it's brown. I'm going to turn it over. And when I turn it over, I'm going to actually put a little bit of our Miracle Chicken Blend, which is so good. I'm going to put some of that on. I'm actually going to turn down my temperature even lower, even though it's on a medium heat right now. I'm just going to make sure I've got it down a little bit lower. And we're going to add that seasoning. Now, what's going to happen the rest of the way is you're going to want to allow the steam to finish cooking the chicken. Now, one thing that I do, I don't necessarily use the chicken broth, but I use a little of that water that I had earlier. It's going to bring up some steam. You can see the steam. I'm going to put my lid on. I'm going to put it on the steam setting. I don't want it to release all of the steam, so I put it on the center steam setting, and I'm going to give it just a minute or two to finish cooking. And that allows the moisture to build in that chicken, and it helps tenderize it and just keep all those juices and all of those nutrients in. So give me a second. I'll be back to show you the finished product. Okay, guys, I think we've had that minute that we needed. So let's check out this chicken breast. Woo-hoo! It is looking amazing. It is all done. All right, guys, I'm gonna put this on our new limoncello luncheon plate. And I want you to take a good look as I turn off my induction unit. I want you to take a good look at this chicken breast. Oh my goodness, does it not look delicious? You can still see the moisture that is flowing and the steam that's coming from the dinner plate. Ooh! So now you know that you can have all types of wonderful fruits and vegetables that you can maintain in your home for your family and cook healthy with just a little bit of time using the products from Princess House. So now that I've shared all that with you, let's check back on Dr. 𝗓𝒐. Well, Dr. 𝗓𝒐, I have just shared all of the different products that we have in Princess House that can help us with our journey of eating the proper nutrition that we should, and also being a little health conscious about how we're preparing our foods. So as we end tonight, from the standpoint of someone like yourself who's really concerned about nutrition, what would be your parting words to our guests as it relates to the food items and the prep items that I've just shared?
Thank you so much. Wow, those are amazing products. And it is important that we not only have great foods, but it's one thing to have great food, but if we don't cook it properly, we take away all the nutrients. The items that I saw tonight benefit each and every one of us by allowing our food to be prepared properly, by holding in those nutrients, by allowing those natural juices and flavors to remain in the food. And those produce containers, oh my goodness, those are the greatest thing because they allow us to continue to feed ourselves those fresh fruits and vegetables and not feed the trash can, because they hold their daily, and they hold their life, the life of the fruit and vegetable lasts as it should, pertaining to each and every fruit and vegetable. So thank you so much for sharing on tonight. Listen, let's get cooking. And not only that, let's get cooking with some great cookware, and let's store our food properly. We're not feeding food. We're not feeding trash cans. We're feeding our bellies. Thank you so much for having me and sharing this with me on this evening. It has been wonderful.
Dr. 𝗓𝒐, I can't thank you enough for being here with all of our Princess House family. And I do want to let those of you who are watching tonight know that we want you to get with the consultant that invited you to the Princess House National Nutrition Month, because that person can help you with all the things that I've shown and make Dr. 𝗓𝒐 proud of you for listening to what she said tonight and helping to put nutrition forefront in your life so you can continue to live the good life, but not only the good life, the healthy life that we all want you to have. Dr. 𝗓𝒓, thank you again so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Good night, everybody.